song. This song is about a crazy mega fan who goes by the name Stan. He would write letters to Eminem to express his admiration for him and how much he could relate to the stuff that Eminem talks about in his music, so on and so forth. But as the song progresses, Stan gets more and more obsessive and crazy. He talked about how he got his name tattooed across his chest, talked about how he's gonna name his child after one of Eminem's songs. He talked about how he has a spiritual connection to Eminem and how they should be together romantically. And at the end of the song, he got so infuriated with Eminem not responding to his letters that he drove his car off a bridge with his pregnant wife in the car and killed both of them. The full song is on
What?
YouTube. Listen to it if you want.
Yo,
if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I'm a man of my word. In the first part, I said if that video got 20,000 likes, then I'll do a part 2. 20,000 likes, and I'll do a part 2 of this video. And look. Ignore the fact that I like my own video, but here we are, doing a part 2 even though I didn't want to. These songs that I found are much more intense than the first one, so brace yourselves, alright? Boom, boom, boom. Let's begin. First, we have Diddy, the dirty diddler himself. The lord of the freak-offs, the boogeyman of the hip-hop industry, one of the biggest supervillains to walk this earth. If you for some reason didn't know, he was a massive artist in the 90s and the 2000s. Throughout the Dirty Diddler's career, he's made over 600 songs, and that includes songs that he's written / produced. And of these countless songs, naturally, some extremely suspect lyrics have circulated. So for example, in the song called I'll Do This For You, he says, and I quote, "Now nobody party like we do. You wouldn't know till you cats see me party." Now, the reason why this is kind of super messed up, Diddy is known, or was known, for throwing the most outlandish parties. And at these parties, these freak-off parties, everyone would wear white, drugs would be passed around, and it was just something that he would do for the last 20 plus years. And at these parties, over 120 sexual assault victims came out. And of these 120, 25 of them were children, with the youngest being 9 years old. So he's out here saying nobody party like we party. Well, now he could party with his cellmates. Someone who is connected closely to Diddy was Jay-Z. Oh man. So as you could see, it looks like they were quite close for a very long time. But this isn't about Diddy, it's about Jay-Z. Jay-Z made a song called You Must Love Me, and this was made in 1997. I'll play it for 1 second.
Since my date of birth, bought you nothing but hurt.
Great. If that 1 second gets this video copyrighted, I swear to God, I'm gonna be so unbelievably pissed. This song is debatably one of the darkest songs he's ever made. In this song, he talks about how when he was 12 years old, he shot his blood brother over some stolen jewelry. He also talks about how he used to deal drugs and even got to the point where he would deal drugs to his own mother. So he basically talks about how this lifestyle that he used to live made him pretty numb. So numb to the fact that even amongst his neighborhood and his family, the people who cared most about him, he wouldn't really care about what he would do as long as it would further his ambitions in life. He talked about how one time he put his girlfriend at the time in a bunch of danger by giving her a bunch of drugs to hold on to, and the deep problems that it caused him and her. What makes this song so dark, besides these situations that arised in his life, is how his ambitions made him reckless and careless even towards the people who cared most about him. And that's a very troubling experience. In the song, he talks about how those left him with a bunch of deep scars in his life that carried over to his adulthood. I'll be honest, that's some crazy business. Out of all the songs I'm about to tell you, this one was probably the lightest. Before I tell you about the next song, let me quickly, shamelessly plug, if you don't mind. It'll only take a few seconds. This is my Twitter.
Going over this.
One of those songs. It is called Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People.
Here we
I'll
go.
play it for a second.
Yeah,
It feels like a
what
jolly
this is
song.
about. Yeah, and don't. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks better run faster than my gun.
You know, it has that feel to it. One of those summer songs. But oh, the lyrics. It is told from the perspective of a teenager plotting a school shooting. The lyrics, all the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, outrun my gun. Now, I know everyone knows those lyrics, but no one really processes what the song is actually about. The artist wrote it from the perspective to get inside the mind of an isolated, mentally unstable, lonely kid. Almost as a way to get people to look out for red flags rather than ignoring them. But what's kind of funny and also kind of messed up is that this song peaked at number 3 on Billboard Top 100. and I'm pretty sure it went platinum if I'm not mistaken. People were out here dancing to this song, like, oh, I'm gonna up a school. Let me hit an emote real quick. Next, we have this song called Mr. Lonely by Bobby Vinton. I'll play it for a second.
I'm Mr. Lonely.
Great. Another song that you've definitely heard before, but not from this artist, from probably Akon, but whatever. This song was made in 1964, and during that era, many different wars were very relevant and prevalent at the time. So the idea of going to war was very much a norm to an extent. This song was written while Bobby was still serving in the army in the late 1950s, but the record labels shelved it for years. It is a super heartfelt written out depiction of Bobby, the singer's, experience while he was still serving in the army. This song talks about a soldier being overseas, aka him, who is super far away from home, being a lonely soldier. So with nobody from home to wish him any safety, any prayers, anything like that. Having nobody at home while you're out here risking your life every single day. All of the soldiers around him would get letters from their lovers, their family, talking about how much they miss them, how they're praying for their safety.
Alright, be
They
back.
come home safe. And it's emotional for the soldiers around because they're all just staring death right in the face. But they also have something worth living for, aka their families back at home, writing them these letters that Bobby is not receiving. So now Bobby, on the other hand, had nobody. He even says in the song, and I quote, "I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody for my own. I am so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. I wish I had somebody to call on the phone." Oh, this song is such a banger. I unfortunately know this song inside out, backwards, left, right, center. It is so good. Now I'm sounding like a real uncle, memorizing songs from the 60s.
Alright.
but man, something about this song is just so soul-wrenching. If you listen to this song and you listen to his voice, you could just tell that he's not just singing. He's like pouring himself into this song. The idea of fighting your life away from home just to be another number at war if you do end up passing away, risking his life for what feels like for nothing. It's a painful reality that some people have to face. And since the general populace at the time when the song was written were soldiers or previously served in the army, it resonated with a bunch of different people who experienced what he was experiencing. Now, for by far the darkest song I'm probably going to talk about in this entire series,
Really?
unless I've somehow managed to find something.
I swear if it's Sarah. God darn it. God.
Crazier than this one. A Gloomy Sunday by Billie Holiday. This song is recognized as the darkest song in human history. To keep it short and simple without going into too much detail, it is a Hungarian song. I don't actually want to go into too much detail about this song, but this song was banned for decades up until the early 2000s. This song has allegedly been responsible for the deaths of countless people. I don't actually want to go into too much detail about this one. I'd prefer if you look into it if you're curious enough. But this song is nicknamed as the Hungarian suicide song. You know the drill. 20,000 likes and I'll do another part. Go watch my other videos. You'll definitely like them. I will see you later.
Introducing Weight Watchers for Menopause. It's the #1 doctor-recommended weight loss program. Now with menopause-trained medical experts and nutrition.
Yeah, boy. I had nobody for my own.
These are some songs with disturbing backstories. This song that I'm about to show you is called You Never Know by Immortal Technique. The same guy who made the last song, Dance with the Devil. I'm allowed to play it for a few seconds, so listen carefully. Great. This song is about a girl. We'll name her Berthy. Berthy was a good woman. She was well-spoken, well-educated. She was somebody who had standards.
This is getting so dark.
Immortal Technique, the author, was someone who was on the exact opposite spectrum. He was a criminal, he was gang affiliated, he was uneducated, and so on. This girl, who had such high standards, chose him, gave him the attention, and it made him feel special. She tried to help him quit the gang life, gave him books to read, cared for him, but he couldn't stop committing crimes. He ended up going to jail for a year. And while he was in there, all he could think about is her. When he got out, he went to go see her and found out that she passed away and left him a letter. The song is pretty sad. Listen to it if you want. These are some songs
Wow.
These are some songs with disturbing backstories. There's this song that Eminem made that goes by the name Kim, and it is by far the most gruesome, most absurd song he has ever made throughout the entirety of his music career. It sounds like this. I'll play it for a second.
Alright, bitch! Sit up front! We can't just leave him!
Yeah. Basically, when he was finally getting rich and famous and he was on his come-up period, he was going through a pretty nasty divorce with his wife. She ended up getting remarried, and he felt betrayed. And in this song, he goes into great deep detail about him kidnapping, torturing, and murdering his wife due to the betrayal. It is insanely gruesome and aggressive if you listen to the song. He ended up getting sued by his wife, and it was a whole deep, dark situation for him. But the full song is on YouTube. Listen to it if you want. These are some songs with disturbing...
No, I'm not doing that.
Here are some songs with dark meanings.
Can't put down
Artists tend to make their best music when they are most emotional. Half of the time, you'll be listening to a song, enjoying it without realizing that the artist is literally screaming for help. But the listeners will be there like this. It's pretty funny when you think about it. There's this song called Codeine Crazy by Future, one of his best songs that he has ever made. But to note, the lyrics of the song, he talks about how he is battling an addiction to codeine and how it helps him deal with his emotional, physical, and mental problems. Or in other words, hide from them. He says, and I quote, "I'm an addict and I can't even hide it." And throughout the entire song, he talks about how he is isolated and how money doesn't actually make him as happy as he thought it would. Other things bring him happiness instead. So on and so forward. So moral of the story, boys and girls, don't do drugs for God's sakes. It'll permanently change your neurology and how your brain functions. Be smarter. Here are some songs with dark... I'm gonna show you a picture, and I'm gonna play two different songs behind it. Here is version 1.
John Cena.
And here is version 2.
Really, bro?
You notice how the picture is the exact same on both versions?
Yes.
But the emotion that you feel about both is completely different. That, boys and girls, is because music has the ability to guide your emotions. Some songs throughout history sound happy, but they have such extreme dark backstories to them that every time that you hear the song, it just throws you off. Today, we are going to go through a few songs that have some extremely dark backstories. Now, before anything, I just need to throw a little disclaimer. I am going to talk about some sensitive subjects. If you want to watch a different video instead of this one, go for it. This is not going to be like my normal videos at all in the slightest. Alright, let's begin. You guys know that one nursery rhyme that goes like, ring around the rosy, pocket full of, something? This song, if you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of bizarre. It is believed that this child's nursery song actually came from the bubonic plague that wiped out half of Europe in the 1300s. The first lyric is, ring around the rosy. The first symptom of the plague is a red circular rash that looked like this. It was basically a rosy ring on the skin. The next lyric is, a pocket full of posies. Back in the 1300s, people would carry around flowers and herbs in their pockets to basically ward off the smell of the disease because it smelled like absolute dog shit. Allegedly, I wouldn't know, we're in 2025. But people also believe that if they put these flowers and herbs in their pockets, it would also cure the disease. Turns out, didn't do anything, it was just people just putting flowers in their pockets. Next.
This little thing
Cool
helped
kid.
me more than my last therapy session. It's called
Go
Radiant,
away.
a lifelike plush toy.
Ashes. By the way, this guy's name is Ash. Just thought I should let you know. Alright. The ashes in this nursery rhyme is a reference to cremation. And cremation, or getting cremated, is when somebody dies, they get turned to ashes instead of getting buried underground. And then we all fall down. Kind of just speaks for itself. We all fall down is just death. Now the real question is, why in the actual is this in a kid's nursery rhyme? Who is responsible for this, and why does this exist? Who knows, but next. Now, before we go to the next song, real quick, I'm doing a try not to cringe next week. I need you guys to send me videos on Twitter. First link in the description. If I use your submission in the video, I'll follow you back. You know this one terrifying ass song?
No.
This song?
This is not scary.
It is called Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. That's a lot of T's. It's almost a tongue twister. So this guy Tim was known as one of the weirdest, strangest pop stars in the 1960s. He also had quite the particular look. He had very long curly hair, he had a super pale face, an eerie voice, and he also played on a ukulele. That is always a good sign. So this song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, completely blew up in the 1960s. Mainly because of its unsettling vibe, and some people actually thought it was a very good song. I don't see the vision personally, but people liked it. Now basically, what makes this song so dark and so scary is that in 1996, Tiny Tim was performing at a show in Minneapolis, and he wasn't in good health. 2 months prior to him performing, he actually got a heart attack, but he recovered fast, and he just ignored it. While he was performing this exact song that night, mid-performance, he had a heart attack and died. This song is what made him famous, and this song was the song that he was singing during his last breath, making this one of the darkest songs ever. How crazy is that? This is where the video takes a very dark turn. So once again, if you want to watch something else, I suggest you go click on something else if you're someone who's very sensitive to these subjects I'm about to speak about. This next song is called A Lonely Place by Joy Division. I'll play it for a second. Yeah, anyways. So this band, Joy Division, was formed in Florida in 1976. This is the band. Take a good look at everybody's faces, especially this guy. This is their lead singer. His name is Ian Curtis. Ian was going through a pretty rough patch in his life. He was basically falling apart. He was married. He recorded this song called Curtis. Ian was going through a pretty rough patch in his life. He was basically falling apart. He was married with a baby and he was having really bad marriage problems. He also had epilepsy, so he was also facing some pretty bad neurological problems, which was ultimately affecting his performance. Here's a quick clip of his performance. You can clearly visually see the struggle in his eyes and his facial expressions. And naturally, it kind of just put him in a very unsettling, uncomfortable position with himself. And he didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to face the issues that he was being presented with. His voice was very deep, and he would sing with quite the eerie tone in his voice. So fast forward some time later, it is now May 18th, 1980. He recorded this song called A Lonely Place, which is the song that I'll play once again for a second. And as you can see, it is quite the morbid sounding song. This song ended up being the last song that he ever recorded, because right after he recorded this, you could assume what happened. I don't want to say unalived, I hate saying that, but he passed away. And if you listen to the song and listen to what he's actually saying, he's speaking very intimately about what his thought processes were leading up to what made him make the decision that he did. The full song is on YouTube. You can search it up if you want, if you're curious enough. It is right here. I'm going to comment on this real quick. Rest in peace, Ian Curtis. Okay, next. This next song that I'm about to show you is called Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique. All I can say is, if you know, then you know. I'll play it for a second. This song is known to be the most horrific, darkest song ever recorded in hip-hop history. And I'm not even kidding. Look, I'll even prove it to you right now. What is the darkest song ever in hip-hop history? It's actually number 2, but just take my word, it's one of the worst, most...
Number 2? What's number 1?
just take my word, it's one of the worst, most morbid songs ever recorded in hip hop history. So this song paints a picture and tells a story about a kid named Billy Jacobs. Billy Jacobs grew up poor, but just take my word, it's one of the worst, most morbid songs ever recorded in hip hop history. So this song paints a picture and tells a story about a kid named Billy Jacobs. Billy Jacobs grew up poor and he grew up fatherless. All he had was his mother, who would work very hard to take care of him, put food on his plate, and make sure that he's surviving. She worked very hard so he could achieve a life of happiness and freedom. Keep that in mind. But since